Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of Texas at Austin Paralegal Certificate Program Information Session webinar. That is always a mouthful. My name is Stephanie Plowman, and I am a program coordinator for the Paralegal Certificate Program. With me this evening is Vina Hosier from University of Texas, also a program coordinator. Vina, want to say hi to everyone as we get started?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope you enjoyed the presentation that Stephanie is going to provide. And if you have any questions, my contact would be there on the slides at the end. Please feel free to call or email me. Thank you.
Wonderful. And we're going to hear from Vina a little bit later this evening. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to start off talking about the paralegal profession in general. Then we are going to get into the specifics of the UT program and then talk a little bit about registration and financing and such. So before we get started, just one housekeeping item. This system is very, very sensitive. So everybody's audio is turned off. And I'm actually trying very hard to turn off Vina's audio right now so she can do what she needs to do in the background, but the system isn't letting me. So just FYI, Vina, I can't quite mute you right now. But this system is very, very sensitive. And I've done a lot of webinar information sessions where people have had audio, and I've heard dogs barking in the background and everybody's lives happening in the background, and not that we're not interested in your dogs and your lives, but it does take away a little bit, and it's hard to hear the presentation. So everybody's audio is turned off. However, we do welcome and are always ready, willing, and able to answer your questions. So on your GoToWebinar toolbar, you should see a box where you can type in some questions. When you type those in, they will pop up on my screen. I'll be able to read them out loud, and either Vina or I will handle answering that question. So please feel free to type in questions as we're going along. If something comes up, we certainly don't want you to forget what you would like to ask. If there is a reasonable time for us to break in the flow of the presentation, we'll take the question then, but certainly at the end of the presentation, we will be opening things up to questions. So definitely you will be able to ask whatever you would like then. So with all of that being said, why don't we get started? Okay. So as I mentioned, the first thing that we are going to talk about a little bit is the paralegal profession in general. And the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that, I'm not sure why, there we go, that between 2012 and 2022, the profession is projected to grow by about 17%. And this is actually a very good rate of growth in the profession, in any profession really. It really goes back to kind of what happened in the economy from 2009 on. As the economy started to crash, law firms were finding that they weren't able to keep up with the salaries of their young attorneys and associates. So unfortunately for those attorneys, the law firms had to let them go because they just couldn't pay them anymore. The money wasn't there, but the work was still there, and somebody had to do it. So the law firms found that it was much more cost effective to bring in paralegals, because for all intents and purposes, paralegals can do the same type of work as young attorneys, but for, of course, advising clients and going to court. But the legal research, the legal writing, the file work, meeting with the attorney and the client, paralegals were definitely able to step right in and pick up the so-called slack that, that those let-go attorneys left behind. And as we've moved forward since then, the law firms kind of, a light bulb went off over their heads saying, wow, paralegals are really able to do so much of what our very high paid young associates are able to do, so let's start bringing them in more and more. Again, as the slide says, making them more useful and very helpful to firms and businesses. Now, as far as job prospects are concerned, and we're going to talk more about looking for jobs and and how the paralegal certificate will help you and such. But there are certain areas of law that I like to refer to as niche areas where paralegals are uniquely situated to have a lot of responsibility and a lot of autonomy. Now, as I mentioned, I'm the program coordinator for the program, but I'm on the development end. So I'm not directly at University of Texas at Austin. I'm on the development end of the certificate program. And in addition to being involved in the paralegal program, I'm also a practicing attorney in New York City. Now, my specialty is federal criminal defense, but I work for a solo practitioner, and sometimes when you work for a solo, you get to do a little bit of everything. So a really good example of these sort of niche areas of law, which are really great areas for paralegals to get into, is the day I received a phone call from the attorney that I work with letting me know that his sister wanted to sell her house, and it was up to me to handle the entire transaction. So I got the transaction after the contract had already been negotiated, so it really was just a matter of dealing with, the mortgage for the buyer and going back and forth with that and setting up the closing and the adjustments and such. However, from the minute I got the transaction, I dealt with the paralegal for the buyer's attorney from beginning to end, and she was wonderful. Now, this isn't my area of law that I practice in every day, so I had a lot of questions for her. She very patiently and expertly answered all of my questions for me. She handled the closing from beginning to end. She was just wonderful. I was so incredibly impressed by her. I actually didn't even meet the attorney that she worked with the whole time, but I did reach out to him afterwards to let him know that I thought he had the best paralegal ever. But areas of law like that, real estate, very form heavy, a lot of math involved, but very form heavy, a good area of law for paralegals to get involved in. Other form heavy areas of law, intellectual property, that's a good one. Immigration law, lots going on in immigration law, a great area for paralegals, especially if you're ready, willing, and able to keep up with the ever-changing immigration laws. And then just kind of going back to the economy, bankruptcy law, hot area right now, unfortunately, or fortunately for lawyers, and sometimes going hand in hand with that, matrimonial law. So those areas of law are really wonderful and those are just examples, of course, but they're really great areas to get into because you can get a lot of wonderful experience and can have a lot of autonomy. And again, experienced paralegals and those paralegals who have experience and or education really have the best opportunity and the best chances of getting those positions and getting into those firms or corporations or legal departments and being able to do some really good work right from the get-go. Now, the top 200 jobs of 2016 this year, 36 paralegal assistants. So there is really a lot of job satisfaction when it comes to being a paralegal. A lot of and again, my experience is in litigation firms and a criminal defense firm, high stress environment. Don't even get me started on that. But certainly if you're in the middle of prepping for trial or a trial, it's going to be stressful no matter what your position is at a law firm. But certainly as far as a paralegal is concerned, you do get a lot of the same wonderful experience, the same wonderful work without the same stress that the attorneys kind of carry on our shoulders day in and day out. We also won't get the midnight calls from clients that the attorneys get. So definitely lots of job satisfaction when it comes to being a paralegal. Top 50 best jobs in America, U.S. News and World Report, paralegal number 15. One of the main questions or top questions, when I do these information sessions is, am I going to get a job after I take the paralegal program? And as I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about looking for a job and what we do in the program to assist you with that. But how much am I going to make when I get out there? Now, according to U.S. News and World Report, the median salary over the last couple of years for us paralegal starting out is just under 50,000 or so, and then the top 10% make around 77, 78,000. This, of course, depends upon what kind of firm you're working in, what kind of law you're practicing. And really the best example for me to give is, if you're working at a big Wall Street type firm, there's certainly going to be more money in the coffers than if you're working for, a smaller boutique type firm or, or a solo practitioner. So it really depends on where you go and the market. And Austin is a wonderful market, and we are constantly getting job postings from law firms and companies and attorneys who specifically want UT paralegals. So we found that the Austin market is quite good for positions for our paralegals. Okay, and then it's ranked up against other jobs, other best jobs. Lawyer, pretty good. If you want to go to law school, not bad. Right there in between police officer and child and family social worker. So there is it is a very competitive starting salary. Once you are getting out there and starting to work, and certainly once you once you make yourself indispensable to the attorneys that you're working for, they will be 100% lost without you. And I say that as an attorney who is often lost without my paralegal. So, you can definitely make yourself indispensable to your firms and to the attorneys that you are working for. Okay, I guess we'll get into the specifics about the UT or of the UT program a little bit, and I do see that we have some questions coming in. I'm going to get to your questions once we get a little bit more into the specifics of the program. So I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. I see you. We just want to get to that point where it will be helpful to answer them at that point. Now, as I drink my water, the University of Texas at Austin Paralegal Program is a 4-month intensive program that consists of 2 core components. The first one is your Essential Skills class, and you see here on the left-hand side of this example of a program syllabus, the breakdown of essential skills. Now, essential skills is essentially an introduction to the law. Legal writing, legal research, courthouse structure, legal terminology. On the first day of class, you will be assigned a hypothetical client and fact pattern, and you will work that client the whole way through in all of your writing assignments for the course. So you will start off with simple writing assignments such as a demand letter, client correspondence, interoffice memo. You'll work your way up to a summons and complaint, discovery demands, summary judgment motion. Everything will be placed in your client file folder, also known as your writing sample for prospective employers. So not only can you show prospective employers that you know what all of these documents are and how they're used in the litigation process, but these are the documents that you yourself have written. In addition to the writing component of essential skills, you will take 3 exams over the course of the semester. In order to pass the course, you must obtain a 70% cumulative grade or higher in both the writing component and the exam component of essential skills. You will also learn how to research in this class, both old school style in the beautiful University of Texas Law School Law Library, but also on the 2 main databases that attorneys use for research, Westlaw and Lexis. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get further along in the webinar this evening. Now, Essential Skills runs for the duration, the entire 4 months of the campus program, and classes will be held every Tuesday night from 6 to 9, as you can see right here. Now, the rest of the program is broken down into 3 different substantive areas of law, as well as a career series at the end. But as far as the substantive classes are concerned, you will have 4 weeks of torts, 4 weeks of Texas procedures, and 4 weeks of contract law. In each one of those classes, you will have one short writing assignment and a final exam. And just like essential skills, you must pass with a 70% or higher in order to pass that particular course and the program. At the end of the semester, we have a wonderful career series that we put together, that University of Texas puts together for the students to assist you as you get out there into the market in interviewing, in writing your resume, in writing your cover letter, etc. So that is something really wonderful that we have at the end of the semester. Now, as far as essential skills is concerned, we already talked about that, but in addition to the in-class component of our campus program, we also have a wonderful website called paralegalspace.com. And here are some screenshots of Paralegal Space. At the outset, it is a communications portal among students, administrators, and instructors. We love to post announcements for you on Paralegal Space. Class is going to be held in this room. Let's go to the law library tonight. Your contract law assignment is due on such and such day. It really is a good way to foster that that classroom community environment, but also to convey information. But more importantly, we have amazing study support to accompany each one of your classes. So as you can see over here, there are a series of black links, syllabus, para-student login, announcements, etc. We have all sorts of information on the site for you. In addition to communicating with you on the site and also the study support, all of your assignments and exams will be done online on Paralegal Space. So your assignments will be posted on the site. You can take a look at them, review them, submit them on the site. They will then be returned to you by your instructor graded, and all of your exams will be done electronically on Paralegal Space. So we'll talk about the technological component of the program a little bit more when we get to kind of the minimum requirements for your computers, but certainly you want to you don't need to be super technologically savvy, but you need to know how to send an email, upload a document, know what I mean when I say switch browsers or clear out your temporary internet files, and certainly be comfortable enough with technology, as well as comfortable enough with your current computer that you don't want to throw it out a window because it's freezing every 5 minutes, like my computer sometimes does. Now, but I don't want to say the most important, but a vital component of Paralegal Space is the study support that accompanies each one of your classes. So for each of Essential Skills, Torts, and Contracts, not procedures, because procedures was developed individually by each one of your instructors, so we don't have the same formal study support for that course, although your procedures instructors will post additional tutorials and documents and resources for you to take a look at to assist you as you are working through that course. But for Essentials, Torts, and Contracts, we have support that tracks every single chapter in each one of your books. So what we recommend that you do is read the materials prior to coming to class, come to class and listen to and participate in the lectures, and then work through the corresponding study support on Paralegal Space. It builds upon what you are working on in class. It enhances what you're working in class, and it's a wonderful review. We have tons of mock exams and practice quizzes and all sorts of things for you to work through to really help in learning the foreign language of the law. Learning the law can be like learning a foreign language. It sounds a little bit trite, but it is true. Not because there's a lot of Latin involved, but there is, it's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of speaking. You're going to learn a whole new lexicon. And it's just a different way of looking at problems. And you'll see that as you go along. It's not something that happens overnight, but you will see as you go along. Your families will see as you go along. Suddenly you're cross-examining them, or you're digging deeper into things than you ever did before. But the study support that accompanies all of your materials definitely helps you. Practice makes perfect. It helps you as you are getting comfortable with the law and learning how to solve the problems that are coming your way in the program. And I don't mean you're having a problem in the program, but just the problem solving and going through the materials and learning the materials. So it's all broken down very intuitively. You know, once you start clicking around, once you start the program, the site is set up in a very intuitive manner. Once you get comfortable early on, and the essential skills materials are broken down by segment. And I always say, once you get comfortable in segment A, which covers the first couple of chapters in your books, by the time you get to segment F, you will be able to do these webinars or paralegal space walkthrough webinars that I do with all classes for me. So basically, what, you know, as I mentioned, what we say you do is just work through the material after class, after reading the materials in your books, and basically just go through each chapter link, and work through the corresponding support. We have lecture notes talking about, you know, maybe your assignments or the terminology that you're learning, paralegal perspectives. You know, sometimes you'll learn something in the book, but there may be a twist to it in reality. We'll talk about that twist. Interactive demonstrations, we have legal cartoons, we have charts, we have graphs, we have all sorts of things. We want to keep it interesting. We don't want it to be the same thing over and over and over again. But we do like to keep it fun and keep it interesting and assist you in learning the material. You can also keep track of where you've been on the site. This is just for you. It's a convenience for you. Make sure you've worked through all the corresponding study support. If you have not worked through the support, and whoever took this screenshot clearly did not work through the support, there will be red dots next to it. If you have worked through the support, there will be corresponding green dots. So again, this is just a convenience for you to keep track of where you've been and where you still need to go. And then the quizzes and the mock exams. We have quizzes and mock exams within every segment of Essential Skills. We have a quiz after every chapter in Torts and Contracts. That you really have, you really can't say that you can't test yourself on the materials, because there are tons of practice exams for you within the site. You get instant gratification with the answers. None of the grades count towards anything. They're all just for you to review the material, to practice, to make sure you understand everything. But you do get instant, quote-unquote, grading gratification and an explanation of why the correct answer is in fact the correct answer. So you can pat yourself on the back that you were correct, or learn from your mistakes. So it's really very helpful to go through all the quizzes, the mock exams, etc., to make sure you are ready when it comes time for the actual exams. Now, in addition to the support that tracks each chapter in Essentials, Torts, and Contracts, we also have a couple additional tutorials and labs on Paralegal Space. This first one that we are looking at right now is the Law Library Lab. Now, this isn't like an actual brick and mortar law library where you can go flip through books, or it is not like Westlaw or Lexis, the two main legal databases where you can research online. However, what it is an area of the site where you can familiarize yourself with the types of materials you will find online or in an actual law library, so you know what to do with them when it's time to write all of your documents for the program. What is mandatory authority? What is persuasive? What should I use? Where will I find things? What is primary and secondary authority? So it is just a good way to familiarize yourself with the types of materials you will see in the law library and on Westlaw and Lexis. You can learn the best way to research within the various materials, how they are all updated. Where do you start when you're researching? In the index, in the table of contents? Where, like, what do you do? How do you find what you need to find? How do you not let research become an exercise in frustration? Because legal research can sometimes go that route. it is very important as a paralegal to be an efficient researcher, and we want to give you all the tools to take when you get out into the workforce to be efficient researchers. Now, you will have access to the two main legal databases that law firms, legal departments, etc. use for research, Westlaw and Lexis. They are substantially similar. You learn both because you don't know what you're going to get in practice. Both of them are very expensive. Law firms, etc., tend to have one or the other, and quite frankly, it depends upon which company gave them a better deal. When I started practicing, it was all Westlaw all the time. Then Lexis called one day and said, "Boy, do we have a deal for you." So we switched. It happens. While they are substantially similar, it is important to be comfortable with both, to have some knowledge of both, because again, you don't know what's going to happen when you get out into a law firm. So you will have Westlaw access for the duration of the program. You will have Lexis access for 1 year from your start date. So even when the program is over, you will still be able to research as much as you would like on Lexis, which employers always love to hear because, again, expensive. While you're in the program, you can stay on Westlaw or Lexis as much as you want. Unlike in practice, as the time is clicking, the dollar signs are not going up. But again, as I mentioned, it is important to be efficient, because in reality, when you are clicking around and the clock is ticking, the dollar signs are going up. So this is your opportunity to really get comfortable on both sites and just figure out the best way to research, the best search terms to use. If you are working on an automobile accident negligence case, if you were to type in automobile accident, motor vehicle accident negligence injuries into as your search terms on Westlaw or Lexis, either they would come back to you and say, here are 1 million and counting cases for you to take a look at, or we cannot possibly pull up the amount of cases that these search terms are bringing up. So, you definitely, as I said, want to get comfortable and figure out the best way to research and the best terms to use, the best databases to go on, and just work on being efficient. In addition, both Westlaw and Lexis updated their platforms within the last couple of years, and with those updates have come really, really amazing tutorials and little webinars that they hold, and just videos that you can view. And so we strongly recommend that students work through those labs and those materials that are available on the respective sites. They are really incredibly helpful. They're pretty short, just how to research for a statute. You may just have to watch not have to, but you can just watch, maybe a 5-minute video on Westlaw or Lexis. And they really break things down nicely and break their support down into really manageable segments. So we do recommend that students work through and at least click around the materials that are available on the sites, because both of them, when they updated the platforms, did a really wonderful job in putting together resources to assist in learning how to use the updated platforms. Okay, in addition to the legal writing labs, or the legal research labs, we also have interactive legal writing labs. Now, there's no reinventing the wheel in the law. If I have drafted a summons and complaint in a motor vehicle accident case, that's my favorite example to use, 6 months ago, and a new motor vehicle accident case comes into my office, I'm not going to start from scratch. I'm going to take that old summons and complaint from 6 months ago, take out the old facts, put in the new, polish it up nicely, and have a good draft ready for filing. So to that end, we have templates for you for all of the assignments you will draft for essential skills. In addition, your instructors will post more templates for you to take a look at. But certainly we do encourage you to use the templates. There really is no reinventing the wheel in the law. I mean, I've been practicing for 15 years now, so I can no longer say I can count on one hand the number of documents I've started completely from scratch, but probably 2 hands, even after 15 years, 2 hands. So we'll always start with some kind of template, and so can you. Once you choose which template you want to take a look at, if you want to learn a little bit more about the document, you can see over here on the right-hand side, you can receive step-by-step instructions. Under drop-down box 1, You can choose whichever document you're drafting and listen to a little audio lecture about it. And under the second drop-down box, you can take a look at a step-by-step guide of all of the components that you need to include in that particular document. And then finally, Citations Lab. Citations, it's the name of a case and the series of letters and numbers that come after it, which may look like gibberish sometimes, but has a very specific role in legal writing and research, tells you exactly where you can find that particular case, which court decided it, and it's very important for you to both read and write them properly. Write them properly, and I mean, listen, sometimes it's just a matter of copying them properly from the case itself, but certainly if you are submitting a motion to the court and you found a great case, you want to cite it properly, because if the judge or the judge's law clerk wants to read that case, you need to make sure they can find it, that you've cited it correctly. Reading them, you may find the best case ever to help your client's argument and position, but if it is not in your jurisdiction, if it's not mandatory authority, you may not want to rely upon it as heavily as you would a case from your jurisdiction. So you certainly want to make sure that you are relying upon case law that is actually helpful and favorable to you. When I first started practicing, I remember going to the federal prison a couple times and having clients bring me cases and literally tell me, this case will crack my case wide open. People actually do say that. This is it. This is the case. It's going to crack my case wide open. I need you to take a look at it. And, we were in, the Eastern District of New York, federal court, and they would hand me a case from, Minnesota State Court, and I would say, okay, thank you. This is wonderful. It is not mandatory in this jurisdiction. It is not binding on our court, so I'll look at it. I'll see if any cases in our court have cited to it, but good research, back to the drawing board. So it is important to be able to, find cases that will actually be helpful for you, and certainly you can cite to cases outside of your jurisdiction. I do it all the time, but you do want to rely on the ones where you are. Anyway, that was a diatribe. Okay, then we have technical support for you. So if you have a problem, something goes wrong on the site, you can reach out. Frequently asked questions, site help, etc., report a problem. We are always here and ready to assist you in the event you have technical problems. Okay, after graduation, we move you over to a graduate site. So once you have successfully completed the program, we will move you over to a Paralegal Companion graduate site. You still have the same access to the study support, our forms data bank, all the good stuff that you'll want to take with you in practice. What you will not have access to, or what you will not have to deal with anymore, are those pesky exams and assignments that you will probably be very, very happy to put behind you. This also, in addition to the sites that you're on during the course of the program during the semester, this also is where we post job postings as they come in from local attorneys. As I mentioned early on, Austin and its environs, the attorneys, the law firms, are very, very excited, very, very interested in UT paralegals. So we are constantly getting job postings from the legal community, which we'll put on the graduate site, which we'll put on your quote-unquote live site that you use during the course of the semester for you to apply to. Now, UT does not offer career placement, but as I've mentioned in various different portions of the presentation this evening, there are some things that we do to assist you as you get out there. We do have a really wonderful career series. I mean, it's really quite spectacular, and I wish I had something like that when I was looking for a job, and God, in law school even. But we have a really wonderful career series that spans the last couple of weeks or so of the program. Again, you'll learn how to interview, you'll learn how to fashion your resume, your cover letter, etc. for a legal job. Really whatever you need, just kind of, figure out how to get out there into the legal community. So the career series is incredibly helpful in that regard. Also, as I mentioned, we're just constantly getting job postings. I've uh, we really get the most job postings for the University of Texas that I've seen in any of the programs that I work with. Just Austin has been, and the legal community in Austin and around Austin has been just so incredibly supportive of the UT Paralegal program and really, really wants UT Paralegals. I mean, hook 'em horns, got to get them out there. It really is quite wonderful, the support that we get from the legal community, and so we get those postings and we'll post them for you. All right, as far as registration is concerned, and poor Vina, whose audio I was unable to turn off throughout, can start jumping in a little bit here, but some of this I can certainly read off of a slide, and Vina, you can jump in whenever you would like. The
Sure.
prerequisites for the program: you do need a high school diploma to enroll. As I mentioned earlier, word processing and basic internet skills. As we've seen, there is a pretty good technological component in the program. So you do want to be comfortable, not only word processing, but online, sending email, etc. You do need to have internet access and email. I'm not sure who doesn't these days, but I mean, I'm always surprised. So, definitely, definitely have regular internet access and an email address. Firefox web browser is preferred. When something goes wrong, though, switch over to Chrome, and that usually solves it. We would strongly encourage you to take the program test drive at utexasparalegal.com. You can click around a little bit on a modified version of the site to kind of see what you are in for should you take the program either on campus or online, and we're going to talk about the online program in a minute also. But just, click around, see what it's all about. I mentioned earlier, that we would talk about minimum requirements for computers. I'm not going to read out loud to you about Pentium 3 processors and how much RAM. You can take a look at that. Certainly, my computer is my desktop is probably like 5 or 6 years old now. I'm ready to upgrade, but it's probably about 5 or 6 years old, and I don't have any problems with it as far as the site, etc., is concerned. But please do ensure that you have at least the minimum of these requirements right here. You certainly, as I mentioned earlier, don't want to constantly be on the verge of throwing your computer out the window because it freezes too much while you're doing anything, whether it be in the program or in life. As far as successful completion of the program, you need to complete the essential skills curriculum plus the 3 substantive courses in the ground program, complete class projects and library research. And as I mentioned earlier, you do need to receive a 70% cumulative or higher in each of the 3 substantive classes: torts, contracts, and procedures, as well as the essential skills exams and essential skills writing components. And you do also need to receive a 70% on your comprehensive final exam in order to earn your certificate. And you definitely want to earn your certificate, not only to earn your certificate and to get out there and to be a UT paralegal, but we do have a really, really beautiful graduation ceremony after the semester ends. You get a beautifully framed certificate. We have valedictorian, salutatorian speeches, etc. It's a wonderful. I know I'm just speaking about one night now, but it's a wonderful celebration for you, for all your hard work, for your families to come, and again, you get that beautifully framed UT certificate. So you definitely want to get that, and then you can get out there. Attendance, obviously, big deal. You're expected to attend your classes. I mean, that should go without saying, but you are expected to attend your classes. There is a 70% attendance policy, and it is strict, so you need to attend 70% of both essential skills and your substantive classes in order to successfully complete the program. So, got to go to class. Anyway, if you don't go to class, you're going to miss a lot of important material. So that's no good. Okay, now Vina, it's all you, Vina, because I'm not about the money, honey. So I'm going to let you talk about payment options. So take it away.
Sure. So you can pay in two ways. One is you pay in full, so full amount for the tuition. And if you decide to pay in full, then you go online and register. But if you decide to do installments, then you need to fill out a promissory note and a registration form and mail it to us. The down payment would be you need to pay 30% of the tuition plus $125 installment fee, and the remaining amount is split into two installments. And you see the installment amount on your screen now. And the tuition for the online program and for the classroom program, there's a bit of a difference. The online program is $6,495, while the classroom program is $5,295. So and the cost of the book is a bit extra. It costs about $600 in books, but yeah, to repeat, you have two ways to pay. If you pay in full, you can register online, and if you are doing installments, you need to do the promissory note and the registration form. You fill that out and email it to either to the registrar or to the program coordinators.
So we're gonna thank you so much, Vina, and I know you're gonna get back into the swing of things with questions and such, and jumping in with slides in a second. And I'm sorry, everyone, I was jumping back and forth so much for this with the slides right now. But we do have a couple things I just want to follow up with what Vina said, that we do have an online program in addition to the campus program. But for both of the programs, and Vina did mention this, books cost approximately $600. And we say approximately because the essential skills books are a required purchase through the program because they do include technology fees for the website, Westlaw, and Lexis. But your substantive books for the ground program, torts, contracts, and procedures, and for the online program, whichever substantive classes you decide to take, those can be purchased anywhere. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, you can get them new, used, Nook or Kindle. You can even rent them, which I know a lot of students have been doing lately. So there certainly are ways to keep those book costs down. As far as the upcoming campus classes semester, fall semester is concerned. I can't believe it's fall already, but September is my favorite month, so that's okay. Our upcoming fall 2016 semester, Tuesday, Thursday evenings, starting October 4th, going until February 23rd, Tuesday and Thursday nights, 6 to 9 p.m., of course, with all of the relevant holidays off in the fall, November, December, etc. And as Vina mentioned, tuition $52.95 plus books for that campus class. I should note, if fall isn't going to work out for you, don't worry about it. We'll be back in the spring. We'll be back in the summer. We'll be back next fall. You can't get away from us. We do have semesters throughout the year. So don't worry if you can't quite get it together for the fall. There's always a semester coming up right behind it. As far as the online program is concerned, structured very much like the campus classes, except it is open entry. So whenever you register and get your financial ducks in a row, you'll get your welcome to paralegal space and you can get going. It's self-paced, so there are no lectures online or anything like that, or anybody standing over your shoulder looking to see if you're doing your work. You have 1 year to complete the program, so basically you just need to get it all in that 1 year. You will be assigned an attorney instructor who will work with you during the course of that year. So as you are submitting assignments, you'll be submitting it to your attorney instructor. He or she will grade them, return them to you commented, work with you, answer your questions, etc. So that is always very nice. Similar substantive classes to those offered online, in addition to couple others, business organizations, criminal, and I believe family law also you can choose for the online program. Online courses are available in both English and Spanish, so that's great. We have it in both. And as Vina mentioned, tuition for the online program is $64.95 plus, of course, the same approximately $600 or so for the books. Online, yep, here we go. You will take the same essential skills class as the campus classes take, and then you can choose 2 of the 5 electives, torts, contracts, criminal, family, and business. We don't have Texas procedures online. So, and we did have a question about this, that as far as the quote-unquote electives are concerned, for the campus program, as you know, as we've said, the 3 substantive courses that you will take, that everybody takes, are torts, contracts, and procedures. For the online program, you will choose 2 of the 5 right here. Now, we had a question, which of those would be beneficial if someone is interested in real estate law and education law? I mean, if you're taking the online program, I would say contracts and business organizations, of course, but certainly I always tell students that if they're not quite sure what, what electives or what substantive classes they would like to take, discuss it with your instructor. Discuss your goals with the instructor, what you're looking to do once you have completed the certificate program, and certainly your instructor will be able to assist you in determining which courses are the best for you. Could you choose a 3rd elective? Of course. You can take a 3rd elective if you want. If you're willing to put in the time, our instructors are more than happy to work with you if you would like to throw in a 3rd class. Now, advantages of the online paralegal, yes, it is very convenient. You can study at home or abroad. You can really do the work wherever you want to do the work. You don't have to be in one particular place. You will be, you'll log on online, read your books, work whenever you can work, reach out to your instructor when you need to, and then, get the same paralegal certificate as those ground students do. So it really is incredibly, you can fit it in very well. And certainly if you can't get to the UT Austin campus to be able to take the classes, or Tuesday, Thursday nights don't work out for you, or for whatever reason campus doesn't work out for you, the online program is a really great alternative. Again, you definitely want to make sure that you are good at pacing yourself. I took self-paced psychology in college, and it was a disaster because I didn't pace myself. But if you pace yourself and get all the work in, you'll be fine. Okay, Vina, I'm going to throw that back to you now for the payment options. Did we talk about this a little bit already, but maybe you just want to go through this slide?
Yes,
so
it's the same thing as the classroom. You can register by paying in full or in installments, and if you register in full, by paying in full, then you just go to our website and you register for the class. But if you are doing it installments, then you need to fill in the registration form and promissory note and send it to either the program coordinator or the registrar. And you need to pay 30% of the tuition plus the $125 promissory, the installment note, installment fee. That is due at the time of registration. And the first installment is due the following month, and the second installment is due the month after that. So this is how the payment plan works. If you have any questions, you can always email me, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Okay, I know soon we're going to get to a slide. Oh, not quite. And soon we're going to get to a slide with all of Vina's information. And I know more questions are coming in. Again, I'm not ignoring anybody, just waiting to get to a good moment to read them out and get to them. Also, program completion requirements for the online program, very similar to the ground program. Any class projects, library research, etc. If you're near the UT Law Library, you can certainly use it. If you need assistance in finding a law library near you, we'll help you with that. If there aren't any near you, that's okay too, online. But same program requirements, program completion requirements, 70% cumulative. on the substantives as well as on the final and essentials exams and essentials assignments, writing assignments. Okay, and then, as if all of this was not enough, we also have paralegal specialist certificates. So if you already have some legal baseline, quote-unquote legal baseline, as we like to call it, if you already have a paralegal certificate, whether it be from UT Austin or somewhere else, a degree in paralegal studies, have been working in a law firm for a pretty long time, again, some legal baseline, you would qualify for a paralegal specialist certificate program if you would like to take one. These specialists are structured in the same way the online program is structured. You will have 2 required classes and 1 or 2 electives and really hone in on more specialized areas of law. So if you find that you are working at an immigration law firm, and certainly immigration law is not one of the courses that is covered in the certificate program because we just can't cover everything. You may want to take the immigration specialist program. They really run, we have about 20 or so different specialists you can take, running the gamut from administrative law to criminal law to sports law to intellectual property. You name it, there's probably a paralegal specialist certificate for it. Again, structured like the online program, except you have 6 months to complete it, open entry, self-paced, and you are assigned an attorney instructor. The tuition is $19.95 for the specialist certificates plus your books. Okay, just for being here this evening, if you sign up for the fall session, you will get a $150 discount with the code, who doesn't love a promo code, with the code INFO150. So write that down, INFO150, when you register. Okay, now here's all our contact information, and the questions are coming in fast and furious, Ms. Vina, so I'm going to start reading them soon, but often the best, most important questions are those that you remember to ask after we've logged off for the evening, so don't fear. If you have questions about the classroom program, you can reach out to program coordinator Zandra Gilmore. Here is her information. Online program, the lovely Vina, who is with us this evening, and here is her information. And then if you have questions for me, and my questions generally tend to go towards the law in general or the website or materials, things like that. Registration, financing, etc. should definitely go to Vina and Zandra. But please do feel free to reach out to me if you have any just general legal questions or content questions or things like that. But here's all our information, and I'm going to leave this slide up now so you can all stare at that for quite a while. And that's a really pretty picture. Actually, Vina, where is that on campus? Do you know?
Yes, it's near the Macomb Business School.
Got it. All right, I'll have to go there next. That's quite pretty. You guys have nice screenshots.
It's very near to the AT&T Center where we have the graduation, so I can take you there next time.
I am ready, and I am fully intending, fingers crossed, to get to Austin in December for our next graduation, and we will certainly walk over there because I know it won't be quite as hot as it is right now. Okay, now let's get to some of these questions here. So now one of the first questions that came in right when we started, and this is probably more of a question for Zandra, but is it possible to audit one of the current Tuesday, Thursday evening paralegal classes? I don't know, Vina, you may know the answer to this, or we may just refer this, and I see who you are, so I can ask Zandra to reach out to you. We may just refer you to Zandra, or you can reach out to Zandra, but Vina, do you have any insight into that?
Sure, they can audit one class if they like, and I mean, it's up to you. If you're okay and the instructor's okay, I don't see any problem in auditing just one class. We can have we can allow that.
Excellent. Okay, so if that's something that you would like to do, reach out to Zandra and Arvina, and we can make arrangements for you to, to sit in, and we'll figure out a good class and make sure the instructor is cool with it, etc., and there's room and all of that. So, okay. All right, let me see what we have here. Okay, when one is done with the program, do we need to have a license? No, there are no licensing requirements in the state of Texas at the moment for paralegals. I know in various states there's talk all the time about changing that, but certainly there's nothing like when one finishes law school and takes the bar exam, they then have to pass the bar of the state of Texas, or I pass New York or California or wherever you want to practice law. You need to pass the bar in that particular state and be admitted to the bar, and then you're licensed to practice in that particular state. That is required of attorneys around the country, but there are no, some states have various requirements, but there are no licensing requirements for paralegals in the state of Texas. So there's really, once you earn your certificate, and your certificate is really, it's a certificate of education, really. You can show that you're showing to prospective employers that you have completed the program, and again, you have that legal baseline. You can get into their firm and really hit the ground running. And not to use another colloquialism, but not look like you're a deer caught in headlights if they hand you a file and ask you to draft a summons and complaint. Your certificate is essentially a certificate of education of completion. It's not anything that you need to, any sort of licensing certificate or anything like that. So you do not need to have a license to be a paralegal, long story short, in the state of Texas. Are international students accepted, Vina, to the program? I don't know if there are any
Yes.
perks or anything. So let's.
For the online program, I mean, they can take the program from anywhere in the world, but international students can take the program, but we do not help in processing the visa, because this is a certificate program. So we cannot help with that. But if they're already here, I believe they can take the program. Yes.
Okay, I skipped around on so many of these questions. So, does the university provide assistance in finding adult education, continuing ed, financial aid? Vina, that's for you.
No, the only option to pay right now is by installments or pay by full. But we do not accept any financial aid because we do not have a system in place. We are not connected to the UT's financial aid office, so we do not have any financial aid. Some of the students previously, they have taken a private loan from banks, and if they write you a check and we can, or write a check directly to us, we can take that. But other than that, there is no financial aid, unfortunately.
Is the paralegal certificate program good only in Texas, or will I be certified in other states? Well, it's not, again, it's like a certification of education. It's not, again, there's no licensing or certification requirements in the various states. Certainly, you are going to learn tort law in general with some specifics relevant to Texas. There's been tort reform in Texas, etc. You're going to learn Texas procedures. Obviously, that's very relevant to Texas. But say you wanted to, move to Florida and be a paralegal there. Certainly, there would be a little bit of that learning curve as you picked up on the specifics of Florida law, but you're really learning transferable skills in the program that you can take anywhere. So, you'll learn in your Texas procedures class that if you need to look up the statute of limitations for negligence, you're going to look in, in your Texas procedures rulebook. God, in your O'Connors. But if you were to go to Florida, you're going to know that there's going to be a similar rule book in Florida, similar statutes in Florida that are going to set out the statute of limitations for negligence cases. So you'll know where to look. You'll know how to answer your own questions, basically, but the skills are transferable, so you can take them anywhere, and you can certainly work as a paralegal wherever you would like with your University of Texas paralegal certificate. Is the $52.95, $64.95 course fee available to in-state, out-of-state, or all students? All students. Again, it's Vina. You can. This is more for Vina, but I mean,
yes.
it's continuing education, so it's not. There's no in-state, out-of-state differential as there would be for an undergrad, etc. But I'll let you continue with that, Vina, because that's
Yeah, that's
for you.
right. No, you were right, and it's the same for in-state or out-of-state because it's a continuing education program, so it's the same fees for anyone. We are not academics. It's not college credit course.
And then I think hopefully we answered this already, but if I know I'm moving to another state next year, will this certificate be valid in another state? Yes, of course. I mean, again, it's transferable skills that you're learning. It's a certificate that you completed education at University of Texas at Austin. There's it's not a certification or license or anything in the state of Texas, and certainly you can work as a paralegal, work in the law wherever you would like with this, and again, just, I'm not going to repeat my negligence in Texas versus negligence in Florida statute of limitations example, but the same answer applies. Okay, what are the approximate dates for the spring and summer classroom courses? Do we know that yet, Vina? Are we thinking about 2007? I know we're thinking about 2017, but I'm having a hard time thinking about it. So do we
Yeah,
have
I don't think we have
approximate dates?
dates for the spring. No, I don't think we have the dates yet. They can contact Zandra and maybe she can tell them. I don't think we have the dates to schedule it for the spring semester.
I can let you know what we did this year, but definitely reach out to Zandra, and she may have more specific information about exact dates. But the spring program this semester, we had one. We had one section that began in January and then went until January, February, March, April, about May. And then we had another section that started in March and went to about July or so. Our summer session was pushed out a little bit, but it was originally scheduled to start in, I think, June. It ended up starting in August just because of some scheduling issues and such. But usually there's that's generally what and our summer class is going on right now. It started in August and it's going to go, I don't know, until it goes. I think December it ends, or early December. So that's generally the time frame of the courses. For more specific, down probably to the minute and the day schedules, I would definitely reach out to Zandra because I know she has been working on 2017 already. Okay, here's a good one. I like this question. I'm hoping to go to UT Austin's law school. Good choice. Will being a paralegal make me a more competitive law school candidate, or am I better off saving the tuition money? Oh God, you know what? I'm going to be paying my, I loved law school. I'm going to say that right now. The paralegal program, being a paralegal, all of that will be very helpful to you. I don't know how will it be helpful to you to get into UT Austin. I mean, there's no guarantee for anything. I had the governor of Princeton the mayor of Princeton write me a recommendation to Princeton University for college, and I still didn't get in. I still went to a good college. It's okay. There's no guarantee for anything. You never know what law schools are going to look for. I don't know what UT Austin looks for. What do they rely heavily on LSATs? Do they rely heavily on other things? I'm just not sure what the law school looks for. I can say, however, that having any kind of paralegal experience, or certainly taking this paralegal program, it's like the first year of law school, really. I mean, I wish I had taken this program before I went to law school. You could literally sleep through the first year of law school. I would not recommend that, but you could. You will have such a leg up on all of your fellow students. Will taking the paralegal program assist you in actually getting into law school? I mean, without knowing more about your background, your LSATs, etc., what the law school is looking for, I just can't answer that. But I can say that because I'm always very positive, when you get into UT Law School, you know, it will definitely be, having taken the paralegal program will be very, very helpful to you. So I don't know if that 100% answers your question, but you know, and I'm always good one for saving money, but also, yeah, education is the best thing that I ever paid for. I mean, I'll be paying for my law school loans from the grave, and I cringe every month, you know, when it's auto-debited from my account. But I mean, I know what I feel like I know what I got. You know, I look at my credit card bills. I'm like, God, I don't know what I'm paying for anymore. I mean, it's probably a dinner I don't even remember from a year ago, you know, but I remember my education, you know. So even though it hurts sometimes to pay those student loans, you know, at least I know what I'm getting. At least I'm using what I got. Anyway, I hope that helps. Okay, what are the approximate class sizes for the campus classes? Well, we do cap at around 25 or 30. Depending upon, of course, you know, the amount of interest in a particular semester. We don't want it to be a huge, you know, lecture hall type scenario. We don't want it to be overwhelming for you guys, but we also don't want it to be overwhelming for your instructors. All of your instructors are practicing attorneys in the Austin area. They are all in the classroom, and I didn't mention this earlier, they're all in the classroom for the sheer love of teaching. They're all experts in their respective fields, and they're there because they want to be there. They want to share their knowledge with you. They have fun with it, and they're amazing. So, but they all have daytime jobs, so no one wants to read 100 summary judgment motions. You all don't want to sit in a lecture hall with 100 other people. So we do cap the class sizes around 25 or 30, preferably, you know, closer to 25. I would say that the majority of the classes run between about 20, run in the 2022, 23 area like that. So that is approximately the answer to that question. Okay, let's see. That is the end of the questions so far. We'll give you a couple minutes to type in any more questions that y'all may have. Again, I will point you in the direction of this slide we have been staring at for a very long time, because I do know that the most important question is the one, you know, you remember when we log off, and that's okay. So please do feel free to reach out to Vina, to Zandra at UT, or to myself, and we will be more than happy to assist you. Can you start the online program at any time? Yes, of course. Open entry, self-paced. So as soon as you have your, you know, financial ducks in a row and you are ready to register and you're good to go, UT will assist with the registration process, and then I will get an email and I will say, we have a new student in the online program, and I'll welcome you and you'll start right then and there. So whenever you want, bring it on. We're ready for you. Vina, as we wait for any final parting questions this fine Thursday evening, do you have any words of wisdom to close off this webinar information session for our prospective students here?
Words of wisdom.
Parting words we'll say. How's that?
Well, we have been running this program successfully for many years now. And I hear success stories. I meet the graduates at the at the graduation ceremony and meet their families, and they are so proud to be a part of the University of Texas paralegal program. And they feel that in these 4 months, working with the wonderful instructors that we have, they have built a relationship with their classmates. We get to it's very fulfilling experience for them, and they feel that in these 4 months, or if they take an online program, we also have online graduates come to the graduation ceremony. We don't differentiate between them. Their certificates do not say online or classroom. It's the same. So when I meet the students, they have such nice things to say about the instructors and the curriculum, and the preparation that has gone into making them paralegals. So it's amazing. They have very nice things to say about the program, and we feel proud that we are being able to offer this program that will enhance their careers, or make a way for new career paths for our graduates. So we look forward to having you in a program, and we are always there to help you with any questions you have. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yes, thank you so much for attending tonight, your interest, your enthusiasm, just everything. I am based in New York City, but I love coming to Austin. It's my favorite program to visit. Austin is a great city. University of Texas at Austin is an amazing university, and we have a great program there, and we feel really strongly about it. We love our students. We love our instructors. And we do very much hope that you will be part of the UT Austin family. So if there are no further questions this evening, again, you have all of our contact information. Please feel free to follow up if anything should come up after this. But we will thank you for your time, for your interest, for your good questions. And hopefully we will see your names on rosters and faces in classrooms, whether it be campus classrooms or online classrooms. So again, thank you so much for attending this evening. Veena, as always, a pleasure. Thank you. And
Thank you.
we will hopefully see and meet you all soon. So have a wonderful evening, and thank you again, everyone. Good night.